bars pattern it's following perfectly, but the way that we squeeze is not going to be easy to predict. Maybe what you get, maybe you get a gap to $8 tomorrow. In the pre-January cycle, it would have been, if we're just talking strictly about how this played out, what we would get tomorrow is a gap to $8, $8-9 range, and then Friday we would get another gap slightly higher, maybe to like $9 or $10, and this is a complete mindfuck. So we would go into the weekend closed around $8 or $9, $8 to $10 roughly, and then Monday morning you'd open at $140. Now I know that sounds fucking stupid. It sounds very crazy. It doesn't make any sense. It does not have to make sense. Think about that. It does not have to make sense. This thing is running. We're squeezing, guys. Not financial advice, but we're fucking squeezing, right?
I can't say that there's ever been a time in my life that I've actually wanted to eat crow. But if there was a case for that, I would say tomorrow would be the one day that it wouldn't bother me. Believe me, if we close tomorrow at 140, I'll be the happiest man on the planet. But until we get through the end of the day tomorrow, I figure it's best we address this. I've been asked for weeks now to comment about Ant's trades and the algorithm. And I put it on the thumbnail Friday night because I wanted to get around to it, but we kind of got off subject for a while. And there were some people that had said, you know, why'd you put that thumbnail? It's clickbait. So I'm going to make sure I come back around, address it tonight, and talk about it. We'll talk about the conditions of the short squeeze, the algorithm, and possibly me eating crow tomorrow. All right, but before we do any of that and get way too far ahead of ourselves,
cue the speeder.
This is the way.
What's going on, everyone? Ants Trades here, making not only my first YouTube video ever, but what will probably be my first and only AMC video.
good evening, beautiful people. Guys, what's going on? It is Sunday night, February 5th, 2023, and I figured tonight would be a good time to address the Ants Trades videos, the algorithm, does it say we're squeezing? And let me just start off by saying congratulations to Ant Trades, man. Your channel is doing awesome. It is totally blowing up. And I got all the respect in the world for anyone that comes on YouTube, puts themselves out there, and tries to help everyone out. So shout out to Ants Trades, and I thank you for all the TA that you've been doing. But I want to talk about the short squeeze tonight. What is really going on? Is the algorithm telling us that we're about to squeeze? If we are going to use the charts from back in January of 2021 to try to estimate or speculate on this squeeze based off the algorithm, are the market conditions the same? What size was the float? What was the price at the time? What were we looking at for volume? There's a lot of indicators we got to talk about before we start jumping to conclusions saying, guys, this is squeezing. And I know this is going to be a Debbie Downer for some people, but you guys know Mass, I am not a hopium dealer. I try to keep it real as much as possible. All right, so let's talk about some of the conditions first that we do have that would actually lead us to believe maybe we are about to pop. Now, we're going to go over a few of these conditions tonight, but if you happen to be a newer retail investor, some of these terms you may not be aware of or familiar with, but these are indicators that traders use in order to possibly identify an upcoming short squeeze. High short interest, otherwise known as SI. A high cost to borrow. Relative strength interest, or RSI number. The days to cover. Volume or buying pressure, or the opposite of that, which is selling pressure. A loaded options chain, and finally, the biggest one, a catalyst. A catalyst to push you up and over the top. So from what I can gather, Ants Trades' argument is that AMC is running in a pattern There's cycles in the algorithm, and we are coming up on another cycle that kind of replicates June and January of 2021, the last 2 times we really popped hard. Now, my only problem with that is there are a lot of variables that we're not taking into consideration, such as, first and foremost, from 2020 to 2021, the float went from 117 million to over 500 million. All right, so you might be saying, all right, Mass, big deal. So the float's 4 times. We got 4 times the amount of retail investors now. All right, well, let's take a look at what else was going on at the time. January 2021, a lot of people were piling into recovery plays. And some of those people might have bought AMC on the way up, seen it ride past 8, 14, all the way up to 60, 70 bucks, and got out and said that's enough. So there's just too many different intangibles that we're not talking about, and they're important. They need to be discussed before we start saying this thing's about to run or guys, we're squeezing. But it's not all bad news. Right now, we do have a couple of these indicators that we're hitting just fine, such as the short interest right now on the float is just over 22.5%. We're at 3 days to cover right now, according to Fintel. We also have a cost to borrow that's approaching 400. It's not all terrible. We do have some of these indicators right now that could possibly lead you to believe we are about to squeeze. But we're probably missing one of the biggest of all, and that is a positive piece of news, otherwise known as a catalyst. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible that we won't get a catalyst in the very near future. It could be something that we've been waiting on, such as a vote going one way or the other, or it could be something totally out of the blue, whether it be good or bad. We know there's a vote coming up for the reverse split and the conversion. So all those things will play a factor into what's going to happen this week coming up. But I just know that a lot of people in the past have gotten their hopes really high. You can tell by the way his channel is blown up. People are really liking what he's saying, and they're really interested in the technical analysis of that chart and the historical patterns. And I'm just going to say, if I had a nickel for everyone who's figured out the chart, or got the algorithm down, I mean, if that's the case, then they know we're coming, guys. Just be aware. If we've picked it out and we've been able to identify a pattern in the algorithm, don't think they haven't. And I'm certainly not saying that Ants Trades is wrong. I heard he called out a couple of good things this week. But he also said that we were going to squeeze before the end of January, and now something's put that off, and we're rolling already past the first week in February. And I just hope to God that this run just over $6 is not the indicator that we have short squeezed, because I will be a very disappointed Massalorian, that's for damn sure. All right, guys. So, look, don't let this get you down. Shout out again to Ants Trades for doing the TA and finding possibly that pattern. And, you know, I appreciate anybody who puts the work in for the rest of the community to help try to put them and steer them in the right direction. I just hate seeing people's expectations get blown to pieces. And, you know, I'm always the one here picking them up. I was here when we ran to 72. A 30 to 50 cent run to me is not a short squeeze. I sure hope to God to you it isn't either. If it is, we're going to be having people paper handing like mofos out there.
No, I'm not being. You're being a little bitch. Listen, would you stop talking to these people and go to Gary?
All right, guys, I'm going to let you go. It's getting a little late. I want to try to get this out by 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. As always, guys, thank you for all the likes, the views, the comments. My new subscribers, my OGs, I appreciate each and every one of you. We are here to break the wheel. This is Ape Nation. I'm the Massalorian, and I'm out.